Well, I was asked to give a speech that was 5 minutes long in this spot, and I'm beginning to have real empathy for my students that I asked to give a 5-minute presentation of their entire year's work at the end of the year. And so I'm much more empathetic to that problem that they have now after having this assignment. So it's 1973. I'm here on campus. I live at 4613 Fillmore Street, overlooking the church, overlooking Central Catholic. And my long-term dear friend who's in the audience, sorry, I haven't seen her in a long time. Anyway, she and I decide that we're going to outfit my truck, my van, and we're going to travel across the country camping along the way between Pittsburgh and Seattle, where my new job is at Boeing. And so we're going to camp the whole way. And I'm out in front of the house, building this thing, making cabinets and putting a folding bed in it and all. And some guy walks by, don't know who it was, and said, there's a table saw in the design studio. To which my response was something like, what's the design studio? Or even more, like, what's design? I was an electrical engineer at the time. Anyway, so I found the shop, and to make a long story short, from that moment, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. I know that I was put on earth to do exactly what I'm doing, and it just feels so good. One of the things I hope for you is that you do, with intention, figure out what your fit is in life. You get to be my age, sitting around with the old guys, metaphorically smoking cigars and drinking cognac. I don't think we do that anymore. But, and so many of my friends say something to the effect that, I had a job that looked good to society, but it felt bad to me. Their whole lives. It's so disappointing. And so I hope for you that you will use your design skills and your intention to find your fit in life. So, as Terry was alluding to, I think, at least from an old guy's perspective, design has moved from the kids' table to the adult table very recently. And I'm so excited about that, I can't tell you. Recently, whenever a CEO or the president of the university came to see me, they would say something like, where can I get glasses like those? Or I need a new briefcase, will you help me? And that's what it was like. That was my sole responsibility to the hirer. But today, a CEO comes to us and says, can you help us improve the educational system of Peru? Or the president of the university comes and says, can you help all Stanford students have confidence in their creative ability? This is a different thing from, where do you get those shoes? Anyways, and so I couldn't be more excited about it. It's quite the time for design. And you guys are just joining it at the right moment. I really think design is magical. I just am so excited when I go to see the kind of end-of-year presentations in the studio of the student work, or you go into a corporate design studio and see what they've done. They've made something out of nothing. It's amazing. They see beautiful, clever, just elegant solutions to problems, and it's just amazing to see that happen. And so, as much as I enjoy that talent, I also enjoy the way designers think, the mindset that they take, right? And so, these designers, I think, just really have amazing superpowers that no other discipline really has. Things like painting a picture of the future with their ideas in it. I love to see that. You paint this picture of what you think is going to happen or what you think should happen, and then by making it visual, other people can help. I mean, lots of other people, lots of other disciplines get involved once you have that picture of the future, and that's one of the superpowers of designers. I also think being routinely innovative is not normal. Everybody else is trying to figure out how to solve some problem. And designers are not that way, in my opinion. They're much more comfortable with ambiguity than the normal discipline is. And so you're in this position, designers are comfortable in this position of not knowing, which allows you to stay in that position long enough to come up with something that really is meaningful to do, as opposed to, I think most people that I'm involved with feel the need to define the problem quickly so they can get on with it. But once you define the problem so quickly, it's hard to pivot to a really interesting problem or to a real innovation. And so that's one of their superpowers. And the other thing is this holistic, human-centered approach. You know, that this kind of, you know, you can come at things from a digital, from a technical approach or from a business approach, but we tend to come into it from the human side. And I think this really lowers barriers for other people to come in and collaborate along with us, to start new collaborations. You know, and it's just a much better approach to the kind of holistic design that we do now. And I think designers also have that superpower. So today I'm very excited for designers and design. Design's having to respond to new conditions and new requirements. But we're at the center of big issues. As Terry said, we're at the center of big issues. You know, healthcare, government, education, climate change. And we're also trying to accommodate new disciplines like designing for data. These are all big movements that are really making this an exciting field. So we finally have a seat at the table. And I think the question is, you know, we've never had this seat before. What are we going to do with it? So my challenge to all of you is, how are you going to use this new position to make a better world? Thanks.